Okay, this is a critical part of the Lions schedule. I think, a lot of people thought the first half was going to be treacherous when you talk about Green Bay, Chicago, the Ben Johnson, Baltimore, Cleveland, Bengals. So those what about four or five games was supposed to be very critical, and now this is the last stretch of, I think, tough football for them. After this stretch of games, I think you have your division games because you'd have played everybody once. You have Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay, LA. And I think that's realistically it as far as the top teams that I can think of on that schedule. So right now, you got Kansas City Sunday night. So this is a whole different stretch right here. They 4-1? So they already went through the first quarter of the season, whatever. Extra game is kind of hard to think about, but so you got Kansas City at Arrowhead. You got Tampa Monday night at home. It's the only primetime game I believe they got at home. I could be wrong about that, other than Thanksgiving. All right, so you got them two. Then you have a bye on October 26th. You come out to bye against Minnesota. Division games are already hard. So they're already 1-1 in the division. So that'll complete the hat trick, at least for the first three games. I believe they may be at home versus Minnesota after the bye. So I think it's Kansas City, Minnesota at home, Kansas City bye, Minnesota at home. And then to finish up that little stretches at Washington, at Philadelphia, probably before the weather really break really bad, right? So that's a critical stretch. And if you can make it through that stretch after that Philly game, you got the Giants, I believe, at home. So, yeah, that's a really critical stretch. Going 4-1 is an achievement, a really good achievement. The back end is compromised right now, so you got to dress that up. How do you dress up the back end? The front end got to be exceptional. So, you got to make sure your back end can wrap up, they can tackle. And this week is a difficult week because you have speedy receivers. So if you don't play good technique, they gone. If you don't wrap up, they gone. So, so I think for them, not having your defensive backs, that's what get Kansas City the edge. So that's a problem. But you look in Terrion, they saying that he can be back a month and maybe, 2 months. So, but in DJ Reader, probably look about, you got the bye for them. You got these two games, then the bye, then. So probably after that, really, do you really rush them? If you do well in this stretch of games, these four games, you do well in these next 4 games, do you really rush them to get back? You just want them back healthy, at least a month left in the football season where they can get their conditioning and their rhythm. So you really probably don't even rush them back. Honestly, you really don't rush them back, and that's why you see Greg Newsome from the Browns get traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you ask yourself, should the Lions did it? You got to play Greg Newsome. Do you use him as a rental, or do you like what you can do? You can get by with Roxanne. I think if he healthy, Avonte Maddox. So do you see if you can get by with them? Because Greg Newsome, that's a great opportunity. Really good Big Ten player at Northwestern. I don't know if they paid him yet or he about to get paid. So do you just roll the dice and you just, maybe you move Terrion and get Ennis Rackstraw and you keep it moving. You roll with DJ Reed and you roll with Newsome at your corners going forward. Who knows? But that ain't the case. But if it's really, really bad, I think Brad can go out there and really get a good corner. Like I said, Sante Samuels Jr. still out there. I think that's a good look. But, I see Jordan Lewis getting a lot of love out there in Jacksonville, too, for what he's doing. So shout out to Jordan Lewis, Detroit boy. Went to Michigan, too. But, yeah, this is the last critical stretch. And one of the good things I pointed out when I talked about the schedule is all they crazy games, all they good games that you want to see on the road. All the teams that you want to see, how they fucked them on the schedule, in the beginning of the season, you get to go to Lambeau. That I'm gonna get to that point in a minute. But all the teams you really wanted to see, they gave the Lions home schedule a shitty schedule. If you look at that schedule, Burrow, even though he wasn't healthy, you want to see Burrow, you want to see Lamar, you want to see Jaden Daniels, you want to see Jalen Hurts, you want to see Patrick Mahomes, you want to see Matthew Stafford. All 6 of those games, probably prime time or important games, they all went to the road. They tried to fuck the Lions. They all went to the road. So the only games that you got that's very appealing, and I forgot about the Steelers. Only games you got at home that's appealing is Tampa and the Steelers. You only get to see Malik Neighbors versus the Giants. So they did the Lions dirty, but the great thing about it is that chunk of that schedule, you know what I'm saying? All the road games gone. I mean, all of them is gone before it get cold, before it starts snowing heavy and getting freezing for real. So all them games, once you get past the Eagles, that's it. That's it. Cold, all that cold, you ain't got to go through no nasty. It might be rain or cold rain there. But after that little schedule, Kansas City, you get that before it get cold. I think Tampa, Minnesota, you are home for the next 3 weeks, because of the bye. Then you go out there, you play Washington before it get too cold, and Philly back before you get too cold. So you get an opportunity. They could have gave them games late where you in snow, you in cold, you in freezing rain, you in sleet. So after they get that done, that's what I pointed out of the schedule. All the outdoor road games they put you in is before it get cold. So I guess that was the trade-off. We're gonna put the Lions on the road. We're gonna put them on the road versus every major team. We'll throw them a bone. They got Thanksgiving. We'll throw them a primetime game versus Tampa. You had 6 possible primetime games that I could think of. And they gave them only one. Maybe Pittsburgh could get flex, or maybe it's a late night game. But they fucked the Lions pretty good on the schedule. But the one thing they did really good is put a lot of those games before the weather really broke really bad. So, but yeah, this next stretch is very critical for them. They can come out this stretch on the right side of 500. I think most people think they come on the right side of 500 if they was healthy in the back end. But if they come on the right side of 500 for this, it's just, I think at that point, it's just about getting healthy and making maybe an additional move or two. Getting Reader back, getting Arnold back, getting Pascal back, getting them guys healthy, getting them in a rhythm and going into the playoffs. So we'll see, man. Right now, people talking about kind of how Philly ain't. I'm not worried about Philly. They'll right the ship. They'll right it. Washington, they back. Long as they quarterback back, he looked phenomenal versus the Chargers. So, but hey, Lad McConkey ain't doing shit this year. Come on, McConkey. I know you got a touchdown, but defense is really keying in on Lad McConkey this year. But hey, they thought the Chargers was back, man. Shit, don't look like it. But hey, thumbs up the video. Or was they ever there? I think they did make the Super Bowl with Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow Sr. I could be wrong on that. But they was good back in the day. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree. Find me everywhere. Peace.